Welcome to the Mental Health Show. My name is Shamika Samuels. I hope that you enjoy a lovely, sweet day. It's actually raining outside, and we know we have the rain gear, and everybody's in rushing to get home from work, and try to develop today, and try to develop the feeling for what we're doing and what we're approaching and what we're accomplishing. So today's topic for today discussion is release a reflection on mental health. And when you release reflection on mental health, it's like you release your mind, you release your spiritual, you release your mentality. And the thing about mentality is that when you go to certain areas, like yesterday I was at Green Acres Mall and I did a footage on Green Acres Mall. You could watch it on YouTube because it's actually on YouTube. And as we gr- develop our segments and how we develop our lifestyle and how we develop our mentality is how we grow as far as our mentality is concerned. So before we start today's episode, we're gonna go into what we're gonna be work. I've been working on something that I want to share with the crew, everybody. I'm working on a mental health product called Basketball by Samuels, and it's called Basketball Wellness. And the reason why I call it Basketball Wellness is because our wellness of our reflection on playing sports, and also mental health is more playing sports and have the ability to accomplish what our sports and our teams are. And we are releasing the reflection of sports and releasing the reflection on our life and our mindset. And we talked about mindsets. We talk about ability to grow as far as our mental health state of mind is. And we try to learn the peace of mind as far as developing a stage of mental health. And we've been doing all we can to help out in our community and also help out in our feelings of how our structure growth is, how our balances are. And sometimes we just you come on the show, you come here in a peaceful spiritual mindset, and then when you're out here, when you outside, you're like more different. And I talk about your life. You talk about how your reflection in your work environment is, and certain type of people that you work around with. And it's like when you work around people, it's like you're working around the defining of what the person is trying to reflect on your lifestyle and on your mindset as well. And this weekend I'm gonna be telling the business expedition over by Javits, and I'm gonna tell you something. When you look at franchise in a business, when you look at mental health in a franchise in business, you look at it as a reflection of your own mindset and your own development. And when we develop our life and our way of visions and opportunities that you could try to work it out in a way of difference and a way of cycles of mental in your mental health. And sometimes your mental health is ability to try things in a different route and a different routine. And I learned about routine in a way of revelation and the power of routine and the power of what we develop. And as we develop, we grow, and a reflection of how we do certain things in our life is about learning the facts and learning how the facts of life is maintained to be. And sometimes we have to level it in a way of dividing our space. And I talk about space. We talk about dividing your space. And when we divide our space, it's about learning the ability to try different things and different brand new things. So we talk about releasing a mental, we talk about releasing your life, and certain things I talk about releasing your life. Releasing your life is releasing your mentality and releasing certain things that you built in the past. You have to learn to release it and remove it from your mind. And sometimes I tell people smoking weed and smoking marijuana is not going to help you release your mind. You got to know how to go to your spiritual mind place where you got to change your looks, get a haircut, change your wardrobe, change your environment, work environment. Try to do certain things that will benefit you from making a difference in your community. And it's like when you benefit yourself, it's like you're pulling away what your lifestyle is and how you develop and how you oversee certain things. And I talk about oversee certain things. We talk about overseeing certain type of atmospheres. Your atmosphere is how you develop and how you build. But it's what is stop right there. Let's stop. So when you release your thoughts, you have to stop and pause and look at your life cycles differently. You gotta release and pause of what your lifestyle is. And when you look at your lifestyle, you look at your principles, or you look at your tools of life, you gotta know when to release and stop and redevelop and rebrand yourself in a right direction. Sometimes your direction is off, but you have to go back on the right direction. You know what I'm saying? But when you reflect on yourself and when you reflect on your life, it's about experiencing your personal reformation. And when your personal reformation, it guides you to make decisions about your future, or even a person want to get married or a person want to stay single. And if you, it's really the truth about it is. I'm a heterosexual man actually, and I like girls. I'm gonna tell you, I'm attracted to women. And the thing about it is that when you look at your sexuality, you look at your reflection when you release your sexuality, you release it so your partner or your partner can understand where you're coming from as well as you're dressing. And the thing about the dressing is that when you dress, it make you feel happy about your it make you feel comfortable about who you are as a person, and it defines you. You know what I'm saying? But when it defines you, it defines your personal mentality and your personal stages and how your lifestyle is. And I tell people your lifestyle is about making a defined choice, and whatever your choice is for you to understand your position of your own correctality. And I think to tell you the truth, your correctality is who you define yourself as and who you open up yourself as. And I think about it is you will develop in a way of passion, you develop in a way of understanding, and you develop in a way of living. And when you live your life, it's about learning the facts and learning how you develop and how you put yourself there. And I'm gonna tell you, you put yourself out there. It's like, yo, I'm gonna build up something. But my facts is, my mental health is that if I build, I'm not gonna learn how I'm gonna develop. And if I build, I'm not gonna understand how I'm gonna develop and how you put yourself in a position of your own life. And the thing about it is, releasing a reflection about your life journey is when you reflect on your own experience, on personal reformation that guide us by making decisions about your future on marriage and relationships. And the future, my future marriage, everybody asks me this question, I'm gonna answer it. They said, "What are your views on marriage and relationships?" And my views on marriage and relationship is how you present yourself as a person, and how your partner will accept you as. And the thing about it is, when your partner look at you and look at the way you dress and look at your clothing and look at how you present yourself, that's how they look at it in a relationship. Certain type of relationships you have to develop in a way of thinking and a way of lifestyle. And let me tell you, the lifestyle is like when you put your tools in one direction. And the thing about your lifestyle is you have to be transparent about yourself. You have to be transparent about who you are as a person. You have to be transparent about your life in general. And I talk about your dreams and bring up hope and happiness. And sometimes your hope and happiness developing in a way of your principles and how you understand a certain type of revelation power of your own identity lifestyle. And the thing about identity lifestyle is how you grow and how you develop your principalities and how you develop your own tools. And there's certain things is that you'll have to understand when you write things down, you have to write things down your own understanding, and you have to understand that the nonfiction ghetto need to come out of your mouth and the unfiction ghetto have to be able to come into your mouth. And sometimes I like to speak hood sometimes because people want to get me on my nerves, and I like to speak hood sometimes. But sometimes when I speak hood, the person have to understand what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? But the thing about it is, my expression about hood is where you learn about the tools of your life, you learn about developing and your own standards. And I think about the standards, right? Standards is that when you talk, it's like you have to talk in a way of a person's mindset and a person's differences. And sometimes when you reflect, it's how you reflect on certain type of ability to grow. And I talk about reflection. I talk about growth. I talk about the understanding of the peace of mind. And my peace of mind is this. We could reflect on one thing or two things, and we could talk about how our lifestyle is and how we develop and how we grow. And it's like growth in the principles of a life is that when your growth is about overseeing things. excuse me, overseeing things and releasing your thoughts about what your dreams will bring you. You know, my dreams will bring me to a franchise like Five Fresh Production. My franchise called Five Fresh Production is a media company that I'm gonna be building up, and I'm also be gonna be teaching about entrepreneurship training and media technology. And I talk about it is that when you turn your franchise into a mental health segment, is you learn about reflection and you learn about releasing your mental health and how you develop. It's how you grow. It's how you grow. It's how you develop. And the thing about it is I want you to write 8 things that really teach you about releasing your mental health. And the first order of business is build your transparent through the experience of your life of your own experience will develop. And when you build transparency, you build up community. And when you build up community, you build up your own stage. And I talk about building up my own stage and about understand my fiction of life. And the fiction of life is that when you learn about development and you learn about understand your truth and understand your main truth and your main facts about your life, it's about learning the facts that when you build up yourself is about dividing your two principles. And how you divide is how you understand and how you look at what your lifestyle is and how you develop. And we develop an acceptance of your own dreams and expressions. And acceptance is that you have to accept yourself in your own dividing way and personal visions. And certain time your personal visions is how you develop and how you truly speak, as far as speaking in your, they call it speaking in your thoughts. I talk about speaking in my thoughts. Sometimes when you speak in your thoughts, you have to learn the experience of the experiment of speaking in your thoughts. And the thing about experiment is that when you experiment your mind, you experiment in your visions of understanding your tools and understanding your true values of respecting your own community. And I talk about expanding of your own community. Is when your life is developing and when your life is more understandable, is more learning the facts of how you develop and how you grow in your satisfaction. Right. So the third one is change your perseverance on what your dreams are about or your future. And development of perseverance is that you have to change your inherent your unethical ways. And I'm gonna say that again. You gotta change your unethical ways because your unethical ways is not gonna get you anywhere. But the unethical thing is when you introduce yourself into politics, you gotta change politics into dreams. And I'm gonna tell you that again. You have to change politics into dreams. Sometimes your dreams of politics is your vision of your understanding of what your politics are. And sometimes your mindset is reflection of mental health. And when you renew your mind, you have to renew your mind in a different way and your different visions of thoughts and how your thoughts are. And I talk about thoughts. I talk about how it is, but how you think about it and how you look at it. You know, and certain things that when you learn about the facts of life and you learn about development of your own culture, you have to learn about I tell people I ain't let me tell you, I'm not a prophet and I'm not no pastor to tell you certain things about your life. I am an entrepreneur and a CEO of my own Fried Fish production community company that will teach you about ethical and unethical ways of defining your life. But their life is about understanding what it is to accept yourself. And the one thing that I tell people is the way how you talk and the way how you dress professional when you're around certain type of community values. And your community values is how you define and how you accept yourself in a peace of mindset. And I tell you about peace of mindset. I can tell you when you look at your life, you look at your life in a different mind and a different tone. And I'm gonna tell you, when you change your tone, you gotta change your tone of revelation. Let me say it one more time. You gotta change your tone of revelation because your tone is not gonna get you anywhere in your work environment. You gotta know how to be aggressive and know how to talk aggressive. You gotta know how to speak your mind and define yourself in your own revelation power. And sometimes you gotta face that person like like I call it. You gotta face that person like they're the devil. I'm gonna tell you. Sometimes I have to face people like the devil, and sometimes I have to learn how to break them off and cut them loose and don't trust them. You know what I'm saying? Because when you don't cut them loose and don't trust them, you're not gonna be able to understand your feelings and how you accept your reflection of mental health. You gotta know to rebuke somebody and tell them to plead the blood against somebody, because at the end of the day, you can't just let them talk to you the way how they want to talk to you. You gotta know how to, let me tell you, you gotta know to rebuke somebody and tell them to get the hell out the way and shut to the up. Because at the end of the day, you gotta know how to mind your business, shut it to the up. You know what I'm saying? That's what I tell people. You gotta know you have to know when to cut. You have to know the person that looks like the devil. You gotta cut them loose. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna tell you, the person look at the devil because the person don't even understand what you're saying. They don't even learn. They don't learn the factors of your life. And when you don't learn the factors of your life, you gotta know when to cut them loose and say, "Listen, I'm gonna get the hell out because you ain't worth my time." You know what I'm saying? You ain't worth my 9 to 5. You know what I mean? You ain't worth my self employment. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? You ain't worth my deal. You know what I'm saying? But you gotta understand how you approach a situation is how you define yourself in a peace of mindset. You know what I'm saying? Listen. I ain't trying to fix you. I ain't trying to fix your life. But I'm gonna tell you to go get your life. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna tell you to fix your life. I'm gonna tell you to go get your life. All right, that's what I'm gonna tell the person. Go get your life, because you need to go get yourself into help to know what who you are as a person. But I'm gonna be real with you. You know what I'm saying? And this is how I talk. You know what I'm saying? People don't understand how I talk and understand how the vision of it is. But the thing about it is, when you learn about the lifestyle of how it is and how you develop and how you look at your life and look at the principles of yourself, you gotta learn how to like define it in a way of thinking and a way of tools and a way of understanding how it is. But the thing about it is, when you learn about it, it's like, all right, I'm gonna learn the factors of it, and I'm gonna learn how I'm gonna deal with it, and how I'm gonna revelation, and how I'm gonna have a time with it. But the thing about it is, when you learn about your life, is about learning the piece of it and learning how to reflect on it. I tell people is, you can't just open the door and see a person doing something, and you think that it's like you're facing. I'm gonna tell you. I tell people, you're facing the toughest thing in your career. Is when your lifestyle is different. Is where you're dehydrated in your lifestyle. And when you ever understand, when you learn about your own identity, you learn thinking. It's like, all right, your ability is like, all right, I'm gonna look at it in a way of thinking. I'm gonna look at it in a way of life. I'm gonna look at it in a way of how my principles are. But I'm gonna tell you how my principles are. Your principles are, let me tell you, the fourth thing is develop a strategy that will help you to develop your goals and aspirations. So when you develop a strategy, you have to develop a strategy of growth and aspirations of your life that you could understand. And I'm gonna tell you the thing: when you understand, people don't understand you because of what you want to do. People don't get you. But sometimes when you have to understand the principles of your life, it's like, yo, I'm gonna be on my grind, but I'm gonna accept the person and I'm gonna be on my grind if I don't understand what it is to visualize myself. You know what I'm saying? But I gotta learn the facts, and let me tell you, facts is that we could be able to understand your principle and your thoughts and how you approach yourself and how you accept yourself in your own direction. But my direction is this: I could I could walk in a place of mine and I could act professional. But when you get to my level, that's when I'm gonna come. I'm gonna come at you at the same exact level. So I tell people, what you do unto others is gonna reverse right back to you. I'm gonna say it again. What you do unto others is gonna reverse right back to you. What you say unto others is gonna reverse right back to you. And what your mentality is gonna reverse right back to you. Because the thing about it is, when you learn about your aspiration of your life, you learn about thinking, and you learn about creating a tool. And I'm gonna tell you, a create a tool. I could tell a person to stop right there, and I could look at them in the face and say, listen, you ain't going to tell me how to run things. You can't tell me how to do certain things in my life that you could define myself in a principality way. At certain time when I stretch myself in the room and I could be able to walk in a camera in my hand every day, and I could tell this person there, You don't know the struggle of life when you grow up in a way of a single mother household where people treat you like garbage. You don't understand how it is because when you release your lifestyle of mental health, you gotta release a principle of how your thoughts are. And certain things are your thoughts can't be in a perspective of how it is. But I tell people you don't have any respect for people because when you look at a person's career and a person's lifestyle, you can't just walk into the person's lifestyle and say, "All right, I'm going to look at it in a way of thinking. I'm going to look at it in a creativity way." But my battle is this. I could look at it in a lifestyle and I could look at it in a principality way and I could tell you this. I could tell you to go get your life. And I'm gonna tell you to get your life because I'm gonna say it I'm gonna say it like I mean it. Go get your life. Because if I tell a person to go get their life, they're gonna understand to go get them life. Because their lifestyle is looking at when you look at your lifestyle, you're looking at it in a different way of creating your values of respect. And that's what it is. Creating your values of respect for you to gain experience, and how you gain experience is how you try different things, and how you try different things is how you gain experience. You feel me? But at the end of the day, I'm like, listen, I'm gonna walk down the block. I'm gonna walk down the block. I'm gonna say when I walk down the block, I'm like, I'm a develop a strategy how I'm gonna make it work. You feel me? But when I develop a strategy how to make it work, I'm not going to look at it in a way of mentality. I'm gonna look at it in a positive mentality. But because the positive mentality is that when you come into an office or a studio space and you see a person sitting there doing a show and recording something, there's a habit that is unethical about it. Is that your lifestyle unethical is not, you're not trying you're not trying to meet on the level and get on the level. But at the end of the day, I'm gonna try to tell you this: when you're gonna meet on my level, you gotta understand how to face the person like the devil. I'm gonna be honest with you. You gotta face them like the devil because at the end of the day, when you're facing them like the devil, you gotta know how to. Let me tell you. Let me say this one time. You gotta know how to fight. You gotta know how to. You gotta know how to talk aggressive to get results. So when you talk aggressive, you gotta know how to release a reflection on mental health, and you have to know how to act professional and talk aggressive. That's how you gain experience of your life. And sometimes you gain experience, you have to know how to act in a way of your tools. And I'm gonna tell you, when you know how to act, you can't just say I'm gonna sit there and be a dum and be like, all right, I'm gonna let the person talk to me the way how they talk to me. Nah. I'm not gonna let them talk to me the way you talk to me. I'm gonna be on my level, and I'm gonna get to the level where a person could say certain things and don't understand what it is that they're saying. You know what I'm saying? But the thing about it is, my vision of life is when you develop a growth, I'm gonna develop a growth in my own understanding and thinking of how my lifestyle is. And the thing about it is, I'm gonna be a reflection of it. The reflection of it is that the strategies that that should include that should involve in your what do you call it involve in your what do you call it involve in your development aspiration is that when you involve yourself, you gotta get yourself into activity that you have to be involved in. But the thing about it is the system that develop you. Let me say this: the system that develop you is your goal should involve your vision to achieve and accomplish. But if you accomplish your object by creating newer versions, reflection of creating your own ideas is your new ideas. You don't. Let me tell people, you don't copyright ideas from somebody if you don't know your own ideas. If you need some guidance of your own ideas, you could do a research on the internet to know where your guidance are. You know what I'm saying? But the thing about it is that when you define your idea into reflection that will make your difference, that could build or improve, will help your organization. It will help your organization grow, but it's how you grow and how you develop. And that's how it is. It's how you grow, it's how you develop. And the thing about it is that when you correct your results, you will correct your ideas into patterns and principles. But the thing about it is, what they call it, one of my mentors was saying, you arrive in levels, but you arrive in stages, but you arrive in your levels of your own identity. But if you arrive in your levels of your own identity, you have to release the results into your patterns that will reflect your results into your particular pathway. And I think about that. I think about one thing about it right here. You gotta release. Let me tell you. You gotta release your results into. Let me tell you. You gotta release your results into your pattern that will direct your results into your pathway. And the one of that is you gotta discipline yourself and select and selection of your process by following the patterns. So you gotta follow the patterns of your own life. But sometimes your patterns of your own life, it will reflect your progress and learn how you can make results better, right? So you gotta stop. Like I tell people, stop moving furniture, and I tell people, there's a tenant that live over me in my building that every night moving furniture. And I kind of tell them to stop moving the furniture. And I said to them, like, why you keep moving the furniture? Because you're moving the furniture because like I tell the person, you're moving the furniture like you're facing the devil. And like, yeah, you're facing the devil because you're moving the furniture, and you're not refreshing your mind to leave the furniture one place and don't move it consistently move it too much times in your house, and you don't like the furniture. Sometimes you don't like your setup of the furniture. First of all, before you set the furniture up, make sure you have an outline of what you're doing before you do it. Yeah, make sure you have a plan. They call it a stage plan. Let me say it, a stage plan on how you do certain things. And your stage plan is how you develop. You know what I'm saying? But the thing about it is that when you make your results into something better, listen, when you make the results into something better than your progress, you learn how to learn from your mistakes, right? But when you reflect on your inspiration in your own words as you grow, you're deeper into your inner circle of self love, and you're better your inner circle. And this is my inner circle of my life, and I'm gonna tell you my inner circle. My names my the names of my inner circle of self line is basketball, sensation, and mental health brand. And I tell people this as I show you a outline of what I'm doing. Yeah, so I'm gonna show you an outline what I'm doing. This is a picture of a basketball, and I actually generate this and design this myself. And I did this. This was a fraction of my cousin that just got murdered, and this was a fraction of the sky of how he visioned when he wanted to become a basketball player when he grew up. And this is what I did for my cousin actually, and I did like a little player, and I did like a cloud over that, right? So this is what I did. So these designs will be dropping in October 2025. So this is what I did for the mental health brand, and this is what I really accomplish it, and I really define it in a self image, right? So I'm gonna read you the introduction of the message for today, and I'm gonna really get to deeper into this in a minute. I'm gonna get deeper into this message today. So the introduction: when you reflect upon your life, you are reading your inspirational book, focusing on your reflection on your own identity. When you lose your focus on yourself by understanding the word, the teachings that shown the relationship between yourself and your mother, and going deeper into your relationship with your mother, but the word that Mary went through a struggle of reflection by losing focus or losing a loved one, your own self-centered. But when you are a mother or a single father raising a child, um, and the answer to the center that reflects that you lose the attachment that is more difficult to explain, to handle, to make difference. The wreck of the first communication between you and your parents, the reflection of mental health is placed on basketball courts to make decision of change that will require you to make the best decision that can reflect on better results and accommodate an acceptance of your loss of your loved ones. To learn to make a decision like a person who is named Rachel, who touches her motherhood as a making decision of making reflection of growing stronger but greater clarity levels of living in your dreams. To learn how you divide learn how to divide in your own self thoughts, a person reflection on defining situations that and strategies that will make you mentally grow. Just walk through the streets of your heart to develop and determine of your reflection to build up your self ambition. To learn from accepting a change from your heart, you have you have to celebrate your self ambitions of your mother of love will divine your hearts to learn from your mistakes, but giving yourself listen but giving yourself develop your mind to learn from your mistakes and reflect and refocus on your mind as a parent. I have that pain and struggle of mental health, losing a grandmother to learn from growing and learning from my mistakes that will make that will make a division of reflection of time to make a difference that can lead us to be able to guide mothers in decisions and discipline of life cycle change. So when you release your energy of making reflection grow of passion, and the one thing I talk about is the vision is to create ethical and unethical behavior values of your behavior behaves that belongs your values of your life choices and actions behavior. Release responsibilities in removing negative compassions from your data. Ethical behavior in mental health meaning. Ethical behavior in mental health refers to all right to acting accordingly to and to what we call it, establish more principles and coding of conduct when you provide and receiving care of individual mental health it needs. It composes respect of autonomy and avoiding harm, seeking to do good and maintain conflicts and trust. Ethical conduct is critical of building trust and fostering self environment and positive outcomes for clients. Unethical behavior is refers to any actions that violates moral principles, professional standards, or organizational policies result in harm and unfair we call it adventures. This behavior undermines the affections of values or goals of an organization or society of large unjust reasons. So, what is today's message? Release of reflection of mental health. Understanding reflections in context of mental health is in active engagement of your thoughts and emotions. And this is what we talk about. Your thoughts and emotions that's deeper into what? Is deeper into fostering self-awareness and emotional clarification. What is reflection on mental health? Reflection is examination of one of own concerns, of feelings and physical progress of reflection release exclusively obtained on one mental state when in spiritual conduct and many refers to examination on one soul. Releasing your emotions by observing yourself and focus on your thoughts and actions and your action behavior that will percentage of observing development thoughts in particular situation. So let me tell you about Five Fist Productions. I'm gonna tell you a little bit more about that. Five Fist Production is a community based on mental health, and this is what my show is community based. It's about creating teaching the fans and teaching you how to grow in your lifestyle. And we actually grow in developing crew. We're developing products that make people be happy and be acceptance of themselves. And we talk about acceptance, right? Acceptance of yourself is to understand the training of seasons of reflection of mental health. And we actually do like technical roles as far as different positions as far as crew is concerned. So we actually do directing, we actually do script supervisor, we actually do all these type of things that I will go over. and we build community leaders that will that will help create and promote the borough ranking fund capital campaign and the product the developing methodological and academy development and research. And it's more than let me write these things down. Mentoring youth generations, mentality and healthy adults. Look for mental health advocates to spread awareness about mental health. Mental health basketball team called Mental Beavers, basketball court and fitness center clinics as well. Coming soon to your area, all right? Coming in October will be basketball, our wellness sensational mental health brand. The mental health brand products will be dropping in my website that I'm going to be launching. I'm going to talk about my own portfolio. My website I'm going to be I'm working on my website that I'm going to be launching coming October where you see all the list of I'll show you all the list of stuff that we're working on for the mental health show. So here's a list of stuff that we're working on here. This is the uniform, the nurses scrub sets, the chef t-shirts, the work outfits, and these are more stuff that I'm learning. And this is the logo right there. This is all the designs that I'm working on, and this will be dropping in October. And all these designs that I've been working on was for remembrance of my cousin, and he actually got murdered 2 years ago. And reflection of my cousin made me inspire me to do this and inspire me to have my show and inspire me to be better and brighter of my life. And when we look at mental health, we look at mental health in a way of thinking, and we look at certain things that we could grow as far as community. So yeah. So for more information about it, you could visit the www.ets.com/shop basketball by Samuels. Basketball by Samuels. You could look at that when you in the website that I have the website that's unloaded up. So yeah. So talking about what we are looking at and what we are overseeing and what we're doing. And we have a lot of time, so let's get to it. So reflection mental health is a project that we're working on, and reflection of how we develop is how we accept the facts of our own identity and our own lifestyle. And our lifestyle is this one. All right, the lifestyle is this one, right? So let's overview it. So the overview of it is Basketball by Samuels is a mental health brand by basketball wellness. When you have a specific goal in playing basketball that values your mental well-being, in particular sports mentality and participant type of sports that will make more enjoyable and rewarding for adult and younger generation to create more positive outcome in releasing mental health. And when you release mental health, it reflects on your career, and it more reflects on mentality of how you grow and how you develop as far as your community wellness. And community wellness is how it is. You develop community wellness by understanding the proposition of your tools and how you guide yourself in your guiding light. And one thing I'm gonna tell you is create guiding light. I'm gonna write that down. Creating your own guiding light, because your guiding light is develop your basketball wellness brand that will make it more attractive. And I'm gonna tell you, it could make more attractive. It could make you more doing things that you enjoy yourself doing, and that you're more listen that you're more like to play. This is my favorite. Basketball is my favorite sport. I like to play it. But if I like to play, I'm more achieve a goal to develop awareness of how it is and how I'm gonna grow. And I'm gonna tell you how I grow is how I develop. So I develop basketball wellness brand that will make it more attractive and more affordable, right? So I make it more affordable for the community. So when you make it more affordable, you can make releasing mental health more affordable, right? No. Let me say this again. You could make a release mental health more affordable, correct? And you could set a goal, and that will benefit your mental health release. That's what I'm saying. But you have to know how to expand your franchise and releasing mental health as well. But the thing about it is that you have to build community. You have to build satisfaction. And what you build is how you develop and how you grow, and how you maintain yourself, and how you develop is how you put yourself in a position where people look down on you and speak negative about you and tell you, oh, go somewhere. But when you release your mental health, is more like a fiction and more like defining yourself and more like putting yourself in a different perspective. You know, I look at mental health as a perspective way. And when you try prospectively, Brand, I'm like, listen, I'm gonna look at it and I'm gonna look at my flow. And when I look at my flow, I'm not gonna be rude. I ain't gonna be belligerent about it, but I'm gonna be acceptance about it to learn that my mental health is about developing and releasing myself into the own community. And how I'm going to release myself is how I'm going to present myself as a person. But if I do it in a way of thinking, I'm going to do it in a way of releasing my thoughts. But my thoughts is in my mental health brand and my mental health revelation is that when you release your thoughts, you more build up your atmosphere and how you do it. And I was seeing a song coming over here, and I was like, it said, "I'm only human." I'm saying, right? I'm only human. And it's like, right. And it's the words like, come on, baby, dry your eyes and your tears. You know what I'm saying? I'm only human. And it said, you have to help you understand the song. And when I look at that song, I'm like, I'm rocking it to the beat. I'm like, come on, baby, dry your eyes and your tears. You know what I'm saying? Your tears of your water of your face. And when you look at the song, I'm like, I'm playing the song all day. I'm like, I like the song, and the song released my mental health in a different perspective. It helped me turn my vision differently. And I'm like, and it said, I didn't mean to hurt you in a kind of way. I didn't mean to hurt you in that type of situation. But I'm only human to help you understand that my mental health is about building up my fortune and my fortune of trying to develop myself in a different perspective of my own life. But my life is this. I'm looking at my song. I'm looking at the words. I'm like, I'm singing it. I was on the train coming over here. I was singing it. I said, "Come on, baby, dry your eye." And the guy was in the seat started laughing. I'm like, "What you laughing about, my brother? Can a brother sing a song? Can a brother sing a song to help me release mental health? Yeah, I could sing a song." But the thing about it is, when you level your argument, you have to sing a song, right? And that's how you do it. That's why you sing a song. I always sing this to I always sing this. I always sing this. I said, "Come on, baby, dry your eyes. Why you arguing with me? I'm for your tears. I'm only human. Can you help me out? I'm only human." But if I'm only human for me to understand to release my mental health though. But the thing about it is, they don't understand. The woman doesn't understand the man perspective, and the man doesn't understand the woman perspective. Because when you look at the woman, you look at the hormones different than the man. You know what I'm saying? You look at the sexuality different than the man. You know what I'm saying? But you ever look at the clues of how you develop your relationship mental health. You gotta look at what your perseverance is, and what your lifestyle is, and how you define yourself. But I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna be understandable of this. I'm gonna be like, I'm singing a song when I'm on the train. I blast my music up in my house, and they banging on my walls, telling me to lower down my music. I'm like, listen, when you listen to your love song, when you listen to songs that's inappropriate, I don't tell you to turn off your music. But when I listen to stuff that release my mental health, then I'm gonna be like, all right, I'm gonna release my mental health. But you gotta understand how to respect a person and how you respect a person's lifestyle. But the thing about it is, a lot of people don't have respect for the person's lifestyle because they bartender when they bartender of somebody is trying to make a difference of a person, and you don't even understand what it is that your lifestyle is, and you don't understand what your perseverance is. And I'm gonna be like, I say, yo, listen. I said, my brother and my sisters, relax. You need to relax. Stop raising your voice. You're yelling too much. Relax. You know what I said? You need to know to relax. You need to know need to know to release your mental and relax. Stop raising your voice. Stop yelling. Because when you're yelling, it's not going to make a situation. You're going to make the situation worse if you start yelling. And if you start acting different, it's going to make the situation be better. But I tell people, like, a lot of people that train, like, my brother, how you do it? I'm like, listen how I do it. I just cut people off and I don't trust them. I just cut them off. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna cut you off because I don't trust you. You know what I'm saying? And when I cut you off, I'm gonna face you like I'm gonna look at you like the devil is looking at you. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be real. I'm gonna look at you like the devil's looking at you, and you're proud of yourself because you're not releasing your mental health because you're proud of yourself how the way you look, and how the way you accomplish yourself. But I'm like, listen. You're not going to reflect on your own identity if you're looking at somebody in a disrespectful way. But if you looking at a person disrespectful, you're like, yo, I'm gonna be human about it. But I'm like, how you gonna do that if you're not human about it? You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna look at you. I'm gonna walk down the block on Sunset Highway in Queens and Valley Street in Queens. I'm like, I'm only human. You know what I'm saying? What I said to the person, I said, come on, baby, dry your eyes. I'm only human. I'm only human for you to understand me. But why you don't understand me though? Why you look at me differently? Because you don't understand to release your mental health in a different way? And you don't understand why is it that you're giving me a hard time for me to understand myself? How am I able to explain myself to you? Yes, I'm saying? But I'm trying to be human. I'm trying to be human. But I'm like, nah, man, come on, man. You got to understand the preposition of being human. You know what I'm saying? But how am I gonna be human if you don't get me? You know what I'm saying? You don't understand my principles. You don't understand the mentality of being human. And I'm like, listen, I'm trying to release my mental health, but you're not helping me release it though. You giving me a headache. And like you give me a headache and I'm trying to be relaxing, but you give me a headache. I'm like, why I'm living only human? I'm only human, you know. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not releasing my mental health in a different way because I'm gonna look at you like something wrong with you. I'm gonna look at the person. I'm gonna say, listen, something wrong with you? Are you okay? Are you all right? Like, are you good? Cause it sounds like to me that you're not good. But my mental health is releasing it in a different way. But I'm gonna be honest with you. All right, we gotta talk. My homeboy is like, we gotta talk. I said, yeah. So when I'm on my Bluetooth and my headphone, I'm talking to my homeboy. I'm like, listen. I said, these girls don't understand a man's perspective because we only human. You know what I'm saying? But I'm a heterosexual. I came out as a heterosexual back in October. I'm only human. But the human part is a woman don't understand a person's sexuality. But they just want to look at you like a piece of trash. But if I have to release if I have to release a person, I gotta cut them loose, man. If I got to try to release somebody, I gotta cut them loose. I'm like, get the hell out of here. I'm gonna release you. Get out. Like, yeah, I'm gonna try to cut you loose because you're not understanding the ethicals of your own life. You're not understanding what it is in a person's feelings, and it's like, yeah, you crying. I'm like, yo, I'm only human. I was like, girl, I'm only human. I'm only one person, but you gotta accept me for who I am and stop judging me. Why you judging me for you not understand the purpose of releasing your ability to your mental health? And it's like, I'm like, what is your issue with a person? What is your problem? You're having a bad day. Are you having a bad? I said, don't bring that bad day on me if you're having a bad day. Take that outside. You know what I'm saying? But you got to understand when you release your mental health is about perseverance. And I like this word, perseverance, right? It's the perseverance is, I'm going to tell you, perseverance mean your kind of mental health in a way to, let's say, let me say it one more time. Perseverance is meaning your mental health have to be in a creativity of your own character. And your character is when you divide your character is your thoughts that put your principles into resistance. And if let's say you're driving a BMW car, and I'm saying to the driver, I'm only human, man. Come on, let me drive. I'm only human. I'm like, you're not letting me talk, but you want to do all the talking for me. Nah, it's not. It doesn't roll like that for me. When I'm driving, I'm driving, but you're not letting me understand. You're not accepting me for who I am because you just acting like a dumb. You know what I'm saying? But you don't put your business into practice. You don't mind your business and put that into practice because when you don't understand, you're not gonna able to learn certain things. You're not gonna able to do certain things if you don't get it. You know what I'm saying? But if you don't get, I'm like, yo, I'm not gonna get it, bro. I'm just gonna look at it. I'm like, I'm gonna walk down the block. I'm gonna walk down Sunset Boulevard, and I'm gonna be like, yeah, I'm gonna do a little dance, do my little, do my little cabbage patch, feel me? And when I'm gonna do my little dance for me to accept, you accept me for doing my little dance or acting funny, nah. But I'm gonna accept my behavior in a different perspective, how I act professional. But my professionality is you learn about different things and different values. But my values is this. If you don't learn respecting, how you gonna learn respect? You're not gonna get that at all. How you gonna listen? How you gonna learn perseverance if you don't understand the building of reflection? You know what I'm saying? Perseverance means that when you look at your tools and you look at your goals and you look at your lifestyle is about changing your way you changing your thoughts and changing the way you think. And the thing about it is changing the way you think. Write that down. Changing the way you think is how you revise your own identity. And when you identify yourself as genetically and how you identify yourself as gender equity. And your gender equity is a style that you gotta learn your style. You gotta know your way of thinking. But certain type of questions that you're asking is gonna reflect on who you are as a person. But my reflection is how you grow, it's how you develop your own life. And the thing about it is, I'm only human though. You know what I'm saying? I could be human, I'm like, yo, I'm only human, but why I'm human and why you're not telling me how to do certain things and how to run my own life if you don't know how to develop myself in a different perspective. But you can't tell me certain things that I already know. You can't you can't tell me certain things that I already understand. But I tell that person, you don't understand my flow, but you wasn't in my flow. You're not in my flow for me to get it because you're not in my situation. But at the end of the day, when you walk the walk and you talk the talk, you understand the values of your own understanding, man. Like for real, I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna roll the dice for you, and I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna open up the table for you, but you gotta know the struggle of it. I gotta open up the values for you, but you have to know the vision of it. You gotta open up the tools of it, but you gotta understand what it is to change you. But you can't change yourself if you don't know how to divide yourself in a different perspective. And the thing about it is, when you learn about the facts and you learn about believing and you learn about receiving it, is you gotta receive it in a different mentality. And I'm gonna tell you the truth. Mentality is like this. I'm walking down the block and I'm doing my little dance. I'm doing my little, my little bump. Back in the '90s they do a little bump. You know what I'm saying? And when you look at a little bump, you look at the little bump and all that stuff you used to do back in the day. It says now is the time for you to release mental health and change that and change it. And a lot of people talk about changing their way of thinking and change their characteristics, but your characteristics is the time for you to reflect on certain type of people. And you can't reflect on people if you don't know how to understand your vision of life. And I'm gonna tell you, your lifestyle right here, your lifestyle right here is about learning. But if you learn, you can't develop yourself if you don't know how to understand the learning of it and the principle of it. And I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna walk down the block. I'm like, yo, I'm walking down the block, and I'm kind of in a vision here. And let me talk. I'm kind of in a vision here. You know what I'm saying? But when I'm kind of vision here, I'm learning by my stacks. I'm learning by my tools. But my tools in my life is that when I think about it, it's like, yo, I'm gonna think about it. But I'm gonna walk the walk. I'm gonna talk the talk. But when I walk the walk, you gotta understand the vision of it is. But what I learned and what I learned about this message is that the mentor that really inspired me about this message was Jamal Bernard, and when I look at Jamal, Pastor Jamal Bernard, he really taught me this message about wisdom. And the thing about wisdom is what we really should your wisdom and mental health. You gotta learn how to take the teachings of mental health and put it into practice in your mind. Let me tell you, you gotta know how to release certain people, and you gotta know to block certain people that's trying to get to you and try to put you down and try to speak negative over you. You know what I'm saying? And you gotta know to block them. You gotta block them. Yeah, I tell you, you gotta block them. Cause it's like I'm gonna tell you, you looking at them like the devil. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I know. I like that. People say I like the word. I'm gonna say it one more time. People say, "Say preaching, brother." I said, "I'm preaching one more time." I ain't a preacher, but I'm a teacher. I ain't a preacher, but I'm a teacher. I'm a teacher one more time. You're looking at the person, you can't trust a person because the person's like the devil. You know what I'm saying? When you call a person on the phone, like, oh, they wanna copyright certain things that is not belong to them because they look like something wrong with them. It's mentality. You know what I'm saying? The certain woman, they have mentality problems where they look at things in a different way. And it's like, oh, I'm looking at you, but I'm like, how I'm gonna look at you if you don't understand my vibe, if you don't understand my grind, you don't understand my position, you don't understand my situation, but you're gonna be a cool nut about it. And I'm like, I'm like, listen, if you don't want to ride on the S train, I'm gonna tell you, if you don't want to ride on the shuttle train to mental health glory, you ain't gonna do nothing. Then you gonna end up out the platform and go up to the 7th train, Hudson Yard, and you're gonna be like, all right, I'm gonna be human about it. I'm gonna walk down the block. I'm like, yeah, I'm walking down the block. So what's your problem? What's the problem? I'm walking. I'm only human. You feel me? I'm only human for me to understand what it is. But certain type of people that you hang around with, you can't trust them though. You know what I'm saying? And the one thing that people tell me, you can't trust your friends though. Not real talk. You can't trust your friend because your friends will lead you to the wrong example though. And I'm gonna tell you, your friends will lead you to the wrong example. And the one thing I had to do when I was in my third, I had to change my type of friends that I hang out with. You feel me? Because certain type of friends that I used to kick it with back in the day, I don't kick it with them no more. Because it's like your lifestyle, your mental health lifestyle have to be different, you know. And I just look at it in a different way because I just feel like, okay, my mental health style is different, but what about them? What about their lifestyle? Why they don't change their life? But at the end of the day, when I don't change my life, it's like I'm looking at the levels of my understanding of principles and how my principles, how my reflection is. But my reflection is this one. This is my reflection on this one, right? I could walk the walk and I could talk the talk, but my battle rules ain't. Listen, let me say it one more time. I could walk the walk and I could talk the talk, but my battle rules is still the same. But I'm gonna face you like I'm gonna be aggressive. But when I talk aggressive, you gotta meet my level. You gotta meet onto my level for me to understand you. And that's how you do it. Yeah, you got. Let me tell you. I'm gonna say it one more time. You gotta meet to my level for you to understand me. If you don't meet to my level, you ain't gonna be anything in life if you don't meet to my level. And I tell people, I ain't trying to be negative though, but people want to be negative towards you. You gotta stop looking at that. You gotta stop looking at negative and look at the positive vibe. You know what I'm saying? Let me say that one more time. You gotta stop looking at the negative and look at the positive vibe. Because your positive vibe in your life is about understanding the truth of your own identity. And what my identity is. You learn about what? People? Stop learning about people and start learning about yourself. Let me say it one more time. Stop learning about people and start learning about yourself. Put yourself into perspective. Put yourself in the shoes that you will understand yourself, and don't look about other people because other people don't know you. Yes, sir. Put yourself in your position where it's like they don't understand your feeling. They don't understand your purpose in your life. I tell people you're looking at them like a piece of trash because you don't know them, right? But if you don't know them, you ain't gonna understand what it is. Oh, I like the way you talk, but if you like the way I talk, put the principles into practice, man. If you like the way how I roll, put the principles in practice, man. If you don't like the way how I hustle, you gotta know the hustle how to make brand. You know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, I was in my 20s. I started to do like a little. I had a business idea back in the 20s. When I'm in my 20s, and I was like, try to put the idea together, you know. And when I started film school, I was like, "Yo, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna be a successful. I'm gonna be a successful professional. You know, filmmaker, producer, community producer." I decided to go into community producer because I like to produce my own stuff. You know, I like to write films. I like to create motion graphics. I like to do all these things. And when I go to programs, they send me the programs, and the programs, and they say it's not really helping you with what you want to do. I decided to come to Manhattan Neighborhood Networks, and I put my dreams into practice. And when I started coming here, I'm like, my vision has been different. Cause you don't look at your vision in a different perspective and a different way of growing. And but sometimes you don't understand what it is to grow because you're not in the person's shoes. You feel me? But I'm gonna look at you like I'm gonna look at you like I'm gonna look I'm gonna tell you I'm gonna face you. I'm gonna be aggressive and I'm gonna face you like a person used to face me. And like my pops used to say, where you gotta know how to act tough. I'm gonna tell you, you gotta know how to act tough. My father left me when I was 9. You know what I'm saying? And I had to act tough. Yes, sir. I have to understand toughness because my father didn't understand how to raise me. Because at the end of the day, it's like, yo, I'm gonna be tough. You gotta be tough in the world to gain viewers. You gotta be tough. But if you don't know how to be tough, you gotta understand the principles of your life. So that's it for the mental health show today. And I hope that you enjoy the rest of your work experience, your work week. And I just hope that you like this message, and I hope that this message really help you in how you grow in your mental state of mind. I'm your host Shamika Saras, and next time we come back, we're gonna talk about how we reflect on your sexuality the next time we come back, and we're going to talk about that, and we're also going to be talking about more about acceptance of your sexuality. So that's going to be the next episode of the mental health show. So tune in right here on the lifestyle channel on channel 2 on the mental health show. It's channel 2 on Manhattan Neighborhood Networks live stream. All right, on Wednesdays at 11 o'clock on the lifestyle channel. All right. Stay tuned. And I hope that you enjoy your rest of your work week.